Welcome to the Indiana Athletic Trainers Association podcast. The IATA is dedicated to advancing the profession of athletic training and empowering membership through advocacy, education, networking, and innovative resources. To find out more about the IATA, check out our website and social media pages. The views and opinions expressed by speakers, guests, or others who have provided materials to and for this podcast are not necessarily those of the IATA. The IATA assumes no responsibility for nor endorses any of the comments, recommendations, or materials that are provided. Welcome back, everybody, to the IATA podcast. My name is Daniel Welty, and hosting this episode of the IATA podcast, and excited to talk about honors and awards. It is that season to nominate, and I am joined today by Rachel Deal, who is the committee coordinator for the IATA Honors and Awards Committee. Welcome to the podcast, Rachel.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, if you just don't mind introducing yourself, telling people about who you are and your role within the IATA.
I went to undergrad at University of Evansville, graduated in '03. From there, I went to Florida. I moved back to, that was for grad school, by the way. I moved back to Indiana in 2010. Have been primarily in a clinic, done some outreach, and then started my own business to create some sports medicine information for parents about youth sports injuries because we know how good Dr. Google is. So I wanted to have some good information out there. I have never volunteered before, and a friend of mine recommended that I try something different. And so I reached out to Becky Clifton, and she said that they had a position available on honors and awards. And so I've kind of jumped in. And as far as I know, I don't have any kind of conflict of interest.
Well, thank you for that introduction, and glad you took the leap to volunteer. And I guess we'll sidetrack. We were going to talk about honors and awards, but I'm going to talk as your experience because you've been now I think for 2 years as the committee coordinator. Is that correct?
This will be the second round of the awards, but yes, it's been a full year. But the second nomination and awards presentation.
Yeah. And I think some people with volunteerism, they a little bit intimidated sometimes. You go in because if you've never been involved or you've never done it before, it can seem intimidating. But once you kind of get rocking and rolling, things just seem kind of just all to work and flow, and everybody kind of is there to support you. So could you tell just a little bit about that experience from a volunteerism standpoint?
Yeah, I really had never, didn't know what to expect, had never volunteered on a professional level before. And so I told Becky, if you really need a person desperately, I'm willing to try. And then she's like, well, there's really good committee members and they've been on the committee in the past. And so they'll help you. And I relied on them a lot in the last year. They've been really great. And there were some things that I've just used from, in the past with like making an Excel sheet and stuff like that. So you kind of just figure it out as you go. With this particularly, it's easy to forget that we're all athletic trainers and we're all human. And not a lot of us, we didn't get trained in anything like this. And so whatever we're bringing to the table and bringing to the organization helps. So even if it's not like super high level and it's not something that would be done like on the national level, like that's okay. Like it's for us and by us, and it's however we make it work, within the criteria that we're given. And really, that criteria isn't super detailed. So we have a lot of flexibility with I like to write things on paper. Well, I like to do things online. Well, I like to do this. And so it all kind of makes it work as long as there's one central person who happens to be, that coordinator position, can bring it all together. And then that information gets submitted to the executive committee. Then whatever you need to do to make it work for you works.
Yep. Yep. Everything will work out. And as long as I think it's just showing up. I think that's important.
Yeah.
And you talked about your committee members. Would you mind listening or talking or naming your committee members, I should say? So,
Yeah. Yeah. So there's Wes Harris, Nancy LaFawn, Rebecca Way, Steve Rissinger, sorry, and Angie Miller.
Yep.
And they've been on the committee a long time. They brought a lot of really good information. And Wes is using some of his background in technology type things and is creating a new submission form process this year for us. So that should be really great. All the information can be done online instead of Google Forms. We've had some issues in the past with some Google information getting lost or not attached. So this should negate all of that and make it a much easier process for everybody involved.
Great. And can you tell us a little bit about the role of the IATA Honors and Awards Committee?
Yeah, so the big fluff words are it's to oversee, manage, and uphold the integrity of the association's recognition program. And that's the kind of vague description. And then it kind of breaks down into, well, what does that all mean? Develop and maintain the structure and criteria for the different honors and awards that the IATA presents. Um, Sorry, it's late in the day. I'm losing words and letters here. And so those are things like periodically we'll go through and say, hey, does this still pertain to how we're working and how things are going in the association? We then review and update the award categories to evolve that evolving profession, ensure alignment with the mission's values and strategic goals. Um, and then review the nominations using the criteria and scoring methods. The EC, before I came on, so right at a year ago, they took the awards and broke them down into a rubric to really help with the scoring. So the hope moving forward is that the nomination process, which is what this committee does, we take the people who we would like to nominate for the award then to the EC, and the EC officially awards them. The committee doesn't pick the winners necessarily, which is, I think, a little bit of uh, it's different than what people usually think about that. So the EC had created a rubric so that we could break down how much each of the different sections values into 100% of the award. And so that way it's everyone's looking at things on the same wavelength. It's much more objective and not as much subjective. In the past, there could have been instances where awards were given for people who just because they were well liked, but if you actually looked at their body of work, may not have been the best suited for an award. They didn't necessarily meet all that criteria, but they didn't have a good way to break down that information. And then the committee also coordinates with the IATA communications committee and the EC on the award announcements and the presentation. And then the last thing is that we plan the awards presentation. And so we've had some talks in the past, and I'd love to hear if anybody has any input on when they'd like to see the presentation ceremony done or how they'd like to see it done. That's one of the things that we've really talked about changing in the future, but haven't come to an agreement on when or how, or even the possibility of moving it to March so that it aligns with National Athletic Training Month.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things that you've been active and doing, and I think to your point, you know, there's a process. It's not like you said, it's not just that committee picking the award winners, and but it's a process of from the nomination forms and to the rubric and your guys' selection based upon the rubric and then the official vote. So there is a process, and it's well reviewed to make sure that it's appropriate who should be getting those awards, because we, I think, as an association value award winners. And so, can you talk about why it's important that we should be honoring individuals, honoring athletic trainers and other individuals in the sports medicine and healthcare community?
Absolutely. So the short answer is to recognize outstanding individuals and partners who make a lasting impact on the profession of athletic training in Indiana and the communities that we serve. The long answer is that these people provide, or the honors and awards provide people with professional recognition. So it validates their outstanding skills, their leadership, their research, their advocacy, their service. It also highlights the behind the scenes work that athletic trainers do every day. It doesn't replace missing nights and weekends, but it's a little bit of, oh, somebody's recognizing that I'm doing this and it's making an impact. Um, Provides standards and inspiration. So it can set benchmarks for excellence. If somebody wins an award that you know, you're like, okay, this is what I should be striving for, or this is what true excellence looks like in athletic training in this particular situation. It also encourages continuous professional development. And I think it can help motivate newer and mid level career athletic trainers to grow and want to contribute, not because they're going to win an award, because none of us get into athletic training to win an award, but to at least know that your peers see you and they see that you are helping them, helping future athletic trainers to be better and have a better situation for them. It also increases visibility, so it strengthens both the public and professional perception of athletic training. It gets put in, the NATA news, which I just received mine this weekend. Those types of things will be presented. It goes on the website, it goes on social media. People can reshare those things, and then their peers and also their coaches, athletic directors, and that kind of stuff can notice and also, support them. And it creates a historical record. So it can document the progress and legacy of athletic training in Indiana. And it preserves the stories of leadership and innovation for future members. And I think that the IATA has done a really good job with our history, with the stuff that's kind of at Purdue. There's always a list of past presidents. We try to keep the website updated with who has won awards since their infancy, so that you can see those things and you can either talk to those people, hey, what have you done in your career? Or you can say, I really admire these people. They've done um, things that have helped us get to where we are. That doesn't mean people who haven't won haven't done those things, but it helps shine a light on those people who have won the award.
Yeah, absolutely. And IATA has a number of awards, and with the fancy new website that we have and the redesign, there's things just a little bit or just cleaner on the website and a little bit easier, I think, to access. And if people are just wondering, if you go right to the homepage, there's an awards tab right at the very top, so you can't miss honors and awards. And so I wanted to talk about the different honors and awards and different things from that perspective. And so, we'll kind of work through some of these, and so let's talk about we have people that in our lives every day that support us. We have family, we have friends, we have all kinds of people, but then we have people that we work really closely with to help with the health and the safety of all of our patients. And so we have a couple of awards that we award Athletic Trainers Award to those kind of outside of the athletic training perspective, but within the sports medicine realm. And so, can you talk a little bit about Team Physician of the Year, as well as Athletic Director of the Year awards?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Team Physician of the Year award is in conjunction with the Indiana State Medical Association. And that goes to a team physician of a school that the athletic trainer or the athletic training community feels has really supported and helped the athletes. So the honorees are celebrated for their commitment to athlete well-being, a strong partnership with athletic trainers, and lasting contributions to the sports medicine community. And then for the athletic directors of the year, and we all know what it's like to have a good athletic director or a not supportive athletic director, whether it's one that we've worked with or that a school that we may have been to or have kids or neighbors that have had one. And so that award will honor an athletic director who demonstrated exceptional and inspiring support for the athletic training profession. And those candidates should exhibit enthusiasm, a positive attitude, and strong dedication to advancing and advocating for athletic training. And both of those awards are nominated from an IATA member. So that should come from the athletic trainer who is an IATA member. Um, and to get to those awards, if you think that you have somebody that you'd like to nominate, like Daniel said, if you click on, you can either click on that awards in that banner, or you can, when you hover over it, each of those awards will come up and you can click on the specific award that you want, and that will take you to the page that tells you about the criteria and the actual submission link.
And then then we have what I would say probably more specific to athletic trainers and what you really were talking about and the importance of why we honor our colleagues. And so can you talk a little bit about the diversity award as well as Roland and talking about the professional excellence and athletic training award?
Absolutely. So the Diversity Award recognizes an individual athletic trainer or an athletic training program that actively promotes diversity within the profession. So this award honors individuals or programs that have demonstrated creative and impactful efforts to advance diversity in athletic training. So this could be making sure that when you're recruiting uh, students for your program, that you're going to high schools that might be typically ignored. Either you're more rural or you're more inner city, that where you would not typically think that those kids would have the either access to an athletic trainer and not know what the profession is, or that they may not have the push or the drive to go to school. And so if you introduce them to something that they like and you encourage them to bring them in, you help work with getting them scholarships because they may not be able to afford to come. Those kinds of things. Those all fall under diversity and really trying to get a wide range of people into your program. The Professional Excellence in Athletic Training Award, the honorees demonstrate exceptional clinical skill, a strong commitment to athlete health and safety, and a passion for advancing the standards of care within the profession. In 2015, this award was renamed from Athletic Trainer of the Year Award to Professional Excellence in Athletic Training. So you'll see on the website that it used to say Athletic Trainer of the Year Award, and then there were different settings. And so three people would win that each year. And they were finding that people who didn't fall into those categories were well deserving. And so that's why the name was changed from that. But it could be things for advocating advance a profession with like legislature, or it could be doing particular research. IU Health has that big study that they're going to start about the female ACL and kind of doing a big thing with women's or females injury rates and that kind of stuff, since a lot of the long ago studies were done strictly on males. And so something like that could even be considered professional excellence in athletic training. So it's really a wide range of people who can be nominated for that. And they don't have to be people who've been in the profession a long time either. It could be somebody who's still in that early career or early mid career. They don't have to be 20 plus years in um, to be good nominees for those two awards.
Yeah. And then as we kind of work our way, through these awards, and we start kind of not necessarily a level, but I think this next award, the Joe Harvey Distinguished Service Award, is pretty important, and I think those that have won this particular award are very proud individuals that have won that to have an award named after Joe Harvey. And so, could you talk a little bit about this award in particular?
Yeah, so this particular award was established in honor of a dedicated advocate for the profession, Joe Harvey. It recognizes individuals who've gone above and beyond in their service to athletic training. So we all know that we typically give a little more than what's required, but this is something that's even beyond that. Things that really kind of humanize you and make you a really good person in addition to a really great athletic trainer. And I will say this is the one award where we kind of have a line item. And does this person who's being nominated speak to um, Joe Harvey? Like, do they speak to how he was? Do they speak to the spirit of the award? And so that's a really big thing on this particular award that we really try to encompass and make sure that those people hit all of the bullet points and that one score high on that part because we want to support those people who are willing to go above and beyond and recognize them and say, hey, we see you, we appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah. And then as we get to the very top of the highest of the cream of the crop type of thing, the IATA Hall of Fame, an award that uh, I uh, I enjoy being at award ceremonies and regard within the IATA and outside in different associations in different areas, and listening to people's stories and listening to their Hall of Fame speeches. It's very moving at times. But as I look through the list of IATA Hall of Famers, I see a lot of people that are my mentors, and I'm sure many people would look through those lists and see names that they recognize, or those that were, whether they're educators or preceptors or even just a mentor to them. And so it's an award that is, for me, it's exciting, and that puts a lot of um, a big spotlight, and those that win that award should get that spotlight. So tell us a little bit more about the IAT Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's the most prestigious honor bestowed by the organization. This is the top of the top, the cream of the crop. Inductees are recognized for their lifetime achievements, unwavering dedication, and meaningful contributions that have shaped and advanced the profession of athletic training in Indiana. So they've been on multiple committees, they've chaired committees, they may have been president, maybe not been president, but been on the EC in one or more roles that they have really committed their life to athletic training. They may have, this will date me, but in the early 90s when we had this, they had the student symposium, and I was in high school and went. I mean, those are names that are in Hall of Fame now. And so, kind of looking back, it's like, wow, these people have been really involved and have done things that have, um, changed the profession, pushed the profession. Um, Indiana has one of the best practice policies in the country because it is so vague, essentially. But we have a lot of autonomy to do things. No, there's some things no we can't do, but that's not necessarily us. That's there's systems in place. But they have fought for us to be able to do a lot of things based on our education compared to other states that are more restricted. So, this is to honor and recognize those people because it's hard to be on a committee. It's hard to do your job, have a family, and volunteer. And so this award really recognizes those people with, again, that achievement of thanks. Thank you for everything that you've done, for for recognizing that, and that everybody else gets to see that too, in the country, in the community, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a later career type award. This is mid career later. So depending on how involved somebody is earlier in their career, they may be essentially they may be able to win it maybe 20 years in, but this is typically somebody who's at the more tail end of their career.
Yeah. As it takes time to show those things, and I think with the award of it's trying to encompass, and why I look at it, from my perspective, I don't know if it fits the rubric, but it's always those, for me, it's those people that and like you said, that it served within the IATA, and not only were they good at their day-to-day job and they were involved in their own community, but that they were super involved and they were contributing and making an impact on the IATA. And people can do that in many different ways. Uh,
Right.
and so I think I look at different people on the list and just amazed. And then when I also look at the list, I think what's kind of awesome is that I've seen this is some of these Hall of Famers, they'll win the Hall of Fame, yet then they still are involved in the IATA.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and so they just like they win it's not, and again, I think this is for athletic trainers. It's not that we want to win an award and we're done, and we didn't win a Grammy and now our career's made, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
we just keep going and going and going. And that's what I like, that when I see those people that win those awards and then just keep going and keep serving, because it's I think in their hearts, they know that this is about the greater good for all of us, and we have to all work together. And if I think what you said at the beginning of the podcast was, we all have something to bring to the table when we talk about volunteerism, and so there's always something we can bring to the table, whether you think you have it or not. I guarantee you, there's something you have that you could contribute to a committee that would be worthwhile in being involved with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's whether it's a I'm not doing all of this without, reimbursement, then great, you can help committee on get helping athletic trainers get more money. If you are a person who is like, no, I just want to help here and there and give what I can, great. Then reach out to the EC, because there's all kinds of positions that need filled. I mentioned the members on the committee now with me, and we have five. I think we could probably even go up to eight. I came into it not knowing really anybody that was on the nomination list. And in some ways, that's good, because you aren't blinded or biased or anything to who these people are or might be. And so you really look at the body of work, and you compare it to what the award um, requires and what it means. And so you might have a little bit even more of an objective view that you think than other members may have. So I think that everybody could have something to share at any different level. And some people may be doing a lot. And so you may just be helping take something off somebody else's plate, which is good too.
Absolutely. And so, let's say I've listened to this podcast thus far, and thank you for listening thus far. And I'm interested in knowing more about each of the awards or how to nominate. We talked about the website. Is that the go-to place for this?
Yep, everything is done on the website now. So you'll, like we talked about before, you'll go to the awards tab. You can either click on that, which will open the awards page and give you the list of each individual award, or when you hover over it and you can pick the specific award that you would like to nominate somebody for, just click on that. And then there will be a blue box under the award, and that will be the link to the submission form. As we're recording right today, it's not finished. We're still tidying up the actual submission link, so it doesn't work today, but it will be working for this process for 2026. Um, and then on that is the list of the criteria that needs to be submitted, um, who it needs to be submitted by, and so on. So you'll most require are going to need a CV or a resume to be submitted. So that will have to come from the nominee. Some require a letter of rec or two, and that's listed there as far as the requirements for nomination, and they will need to be nominated from an IATA member. That's a big thing. In the past, they've had some nominated from somebody else, but because these are IATA awards that are being given out, the nomination has to come from an IATA member. And then all the nomination forms, all the required materials must be completed and submitted via that link by March 20th. So that gives us time then to meet as a committee, make sure we have everything, go over the submissions, figure out who we would like then to present to the EC, and then the EC agree on them, the award winners be informed, and then they can have plans, and we can plan the ceremony that'll probably happen in June this year, just because there's no time to turn around and do it in March. So we would have to change this a little bit if we were going to try to move it to coincide with National Athletic Training Month. So right now it'll probably be sometime around June. It doesn't have to coincide with the symposium. It just has happened to the last few years. So if anyone has any recommendations or ideas on things that they would like to see with that, they can email me. My email or contact information should be on the committee's list, and then for honors and awards. And I'd love to hear input that people have about it. I would also love to see if we could get this moved to March and use it with that National Athletic Training Month.
Well, was there anything that you wanted to add that we didn't talk about in regards to honors and awards, whether it be a specific award, your committee, the nomination process, anything that you would like to add on to?
I think we've covered it. I definitely couldn't. I'm recording the podcast with you, but I could not be here with the committee members. They have been super, super helpful in talking about what they've done in the past, what has worked for them, what hasn't worked, any kind of changes that I recommended. They were more than willing to voice why they think it would work or not work. So this is really the all about the committee. I just happen to be the person that I guess you could say drew the short straw to get to lead the committee and then talk to you.
Well, thanks for making me feel honored. No. Well, if you could be an animal, what animal would you be and why?
So I think I have to take this from something that my husband has said. And he's like, man, a dog just has like the perfect life because they're born into perpetual retirement. I mean, they get to sleep around all day and then they can get up and play. They bring other people such joy and happiness. It's really easy to please them. So I think I would be a dog.
That's a great answer. Yeah. Well, Rachel, I appreciate you coming onto the podcast, and I appreciate you. I appreciate your committee and the work that you guys do. And for those listening and those athletic trainers in Indiana, IATA members, make sure you get out and nominate somebody this year. I would love to see more nominations than Rachel's committee can handle. So make sure you get out there and submit those. And you said by March 20th, is that correct?
March 20th is the deadline, correct?
Alrighty, make sure you check out the IATA website. And again, thank you, Rachel, for coming on to the podcast.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Indiana Athletic Trainers Association podcast. We appreciate you taking time to listen and look forward to you joining us again on the next episode. To find out more about the IATA or to get in touch with us, you can visit our website or reach out via social media.